Whenever I need to send roses that are guaranteed to make someone's day, the only place I trust is 1-800-Flowers.com. With 1-800-Flowers, my friends and family always receive stunning, high-quality bouquets that they absolutely love. Right now, when you buy a dozen multicolored roses, 1-800-Flowers will double your bouquet to 2 dozen roses. To claim this special double roses offer, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking for these better days.
It is Thursday, November 6th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. Congratulations to Alex Ovechkin becoming the first member of the NHL's 900-goal club. We did hit our best bet on the ice last night, a system play in Toronto, up on the brand new picks page on betterday.com. And also up on betterday.com, Mackenzie Rivers NBA Power Rankings. Speaking of Mac, he joins me here on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. Mackenzie, this you explained in the article, and if you haven't read it right now, guys, go up to betterday.com, click on the research tab, and you'll see Mac's NBA Power Rankings that were of yesterday's date, November 5th. You explained in the beginning that this is the time of the year, or this is the first time of the year, where you kind of change your ratings based off your priors. Why don't you explain that a little bit?
There's 3 windows that I look at throughout the season, and it's a little bit easier as I get used to my old Excel document in the first couple days of the year, because year to date and last month and last week are all the same thing. It doesn't make sense to delineate. But now I think we can make some distinctions between this is how the team has been, what we appreciate about year-to-date data, and we still care about priors just as much, and what the recent uptick is. And throughout my NBA handicapping experience, I think I'm less of an investor, although in my real life, long-term investing, buy and hold, buy and homework, as Kramer would say. But I'm more of a trader now than an investor. I used to be like, let me find a team that I think is better than the market and just believe in that team through thick and thin. But what's really worked, and I've created a model that kind of simulates it, is find who's at their hottest right now, who's better than their year to date, whose last 5 games or last 4 games show that they're locked in and they've discovered something as a team and a unit. Because basketball is all about chemistry, and if you look at this is how good each player is, it doesn't get you half the pie of how good a team is. So recent performance really matters, and now we can make some real adjustments to what we thought at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and, you know, if you're curious, obviously go to the research tab up on betterday.com. Number 1 team, no surprise, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 2, the Cleveland Cavaliers, actually been downgraded since the start of your season just a bit here.
Yeah, but I still think people would be surprised at them at number 2, and I would just be like, make the argument for another team, but we'll have that discussion.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, well, there's a couple. You have the Denver Nuggets, number 3. The Rockets, number 4, and the Golden State Warriors, number 5. Those are in your top tier of your power rankings. So, again, no one's going to argue with Oklahoma City, but 2, 3, 4, 5, give me some thoughts here.
I mean, if you just look at the last 6 months, if you just kind of ignore the summer break, which people don't for some reason, people think it's brand new teams. I think the last 100 games of data, which is something that like Dunks and Threes uses, is much more relevant than either this year or last year, or binary like that. It's those are the teams. The Thunder have the best record, and the Cavs are the second. The Nuggets, you know, they're right around there, except for the Rockets, who were a great team last year defensively, and now have the number 1 offense in the league. So, out of respect of championship pedigree, I give the Nuggets the nod. I tied for 3, but Nuggets are first at 5.5 points better than an average team. But the Rockets have the potential, I think, much more than the Nuggets to be a contender versus the Thunder in the playoffs.
And in your next tier, as it's color coded here up on betterday.com, so you have the green tier, which is like the elite tier. And then your next tier of teams, you have the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks both tied at 6th. And then you have the Clippers and the Lakers both tied as the next two teams. I guess that would be 8th, followed by the San Antonio Spurs. So that ranks out that rounds out 6 through 10. Talk to me about those teams.
I think the Lakers and the Spurs are most interesting. They're playing tonight as we are recording a little bit early here. And the Lakers and I think Spurs are even teams, fully healthy. And the market opened up saying the Lakers are about even teams with the Spurs right now. Well, that's all within the Overton window, and I could see an argument for anything, for either of those things. The Spurs haven't made the playoffs yet. That said, through 5 games, the Spurs had the best net rating in the league with an admittedly easy schedule. And if you haven't heard, they have the most exciting prospect that's still not 22 years old yet. So is he worth 4 points to a line? Is he worth 8 points to a line? I could hear that argument. So the Spurs have a little bit of variability. I'm pretty high on the Spurs. Right, just a little bit worse than the Lakers and worse than the Clippers, who have been pretty significantly downgraded. We've talked about this and them before. They just don't seem made for at least regular season basketball, and these are regular season ratings.
Well, we do have one game here on the schedule for Thursday night, and that is the Clippers and the Suns. Suns 2.5-point favorites at home against the Clippers. We'll get to that here in just a moment, see if you have a play on that one game here for tonight. I want to go all the way to the bottom of your power rankings, and would you classify these teams, Mackenzie, as are they tanking teams? Are these just fade candidates? Like, what do we think about the bottom of the barrel here in your power rankings? And I'll just go 28 New Orleans, 29 Washington, 30 the Brooklyn Nets.
3 terrible teams, 3 terrific stories of how we got here. The Pelicans, it's a complete accident. It's a dumpster fire. Zion Williamson already hurt, and he hasn't been that great. He hasn't been that explosive figure that made him one of the most exciting prospects when he came out. And the Nets and the Wizards, I think, are purposefully bad. So maybe less embarrassing, but still, like, they are stretching the bounds of what is somehow allowable. Like, we're talking about fraudulent NBA, the grand stage of the NBA has been defrauded. I heard that phrase recently at a press conference I was listening to. Well, these teams are defrauding the NBA. They're not real units, but they're very different. The Nets are defensive focused under Fernandez, and I think they'll cover more games, even though they're worse than the Wizards. The Wizards, they've been playing some of the fastest basketball in the NBA as far as after they get a defensive rebound or after a made shot, how quickly do they get a shot up? Why do they do that? Because they have an advantage and they're the Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash from 2006? No. It's because that's what the analytics say is good, but it's good for good teams. They're a bad team. So that's just more possessions for us to take advantage of. That's why I faded them 3 times in a row, and they haven't even come close to covering in these recent games. Most recently, 30-point loss to the Celtics.
Some results, and that was one you were on. You actually laid the big number here with Boston, and
wasn't that big? Wasn't that big? 17 points would have been appropriate.
Yep, Boston wins 136-107. Knicks took care of the Timberwolves 137-114. And as I mentioned, we do have one game on the schedule here for Thursday night. It is the Clippers and the Suns, and up on FanDuel right now, Suns are a 2.5-point home favorite. Any read on this one matchup here?
Yeah, power ratings make it 7-point. Clippers should be favored, but of course that's with a healthy squad. Kawhi Leonard out, James Harden out. Very weird scheduling spot to have a standalone game with such little star power. Almost tailor-made, I think, for Devin Booker to have 40 and make a statement and give them something to talk about in the postgame with everybody watching. Finger quotes over everybody. But I do think the Suns maybe have value here as 2.5-point favorites.
And speaking of the other LA team, LeBron James is going to ramp up some activities. Maybe next week start playing some 5-on-5, possibly. We'll see if he is getting ready to rejoin the team. He is not going to travel with them on their 5-game trip that they were about to embark on. So he could be back maybe November 18th, Lakers Jazz, but I don't know. When are you expecting to see LeBron back, Mackenzie? When the season truly starts on Christmas?
when you least expect it. LeBron James, quite the showman. There's some home games against the Jazz if he wants to ease into it and go for 40, or maybe some primetime matchup. But Black Friday, right after Thanksgiving, splash news. You wake up in the morning hungover with some turkey breath. LeBron James is on your screen.
All right, we'll all be waiting with bated breath for that one. Hockey last night, Alexander Ovechkin did score his 900th career goal, first player in NHL history to do that. Capitals blew out the Blues 6-1. We did cash our best bet on Toronto, a 5-3 win over the Utah Mammoth, and this was the system play. Teams playing on the second night of a back-to-back in Toronto, now 5-27 on the season, McKenzie. Not on the season, since 2021. 5-27. So not good numbers here in Toronto for teams playing on the second of a back-to-back. I actually looked up a bunch of different cities to see, who's been the best and who's been the worst. And as far as
Vegas takes that pridefully. That should be us.
No, Vegas.
The Vegas flu.
Vegas is not the best, actually. And Vegas has been great over the past couple of seasons, yes. But going back to 2021, obviously Colorado, that's one of the best systems that we talk about. Teams playing the second of a back-to-back in Colorado. Toronto is very strong. But surprisingly, Boston has been a very strong city to fade teams coming on the second night of a back-to-back. I don't know what the reason is, but
it's not because of the nightlife. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, maybe. Teams since 2020. Yeah, who knows? Maybe they go to Cheers or something. Get some beers in Boston.
Is it a place, Cheers?
Yes, the real bar's there. 5-20 teams are straight up in Boston, second night of a back-to-back since 2021. That is, didn't expect that. Something to keep an eye on.
That's Toronto-esque. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's Toronto-esque. Tonight, the Vegas Golden Knights take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. VGK, a -130 home favorite. And yes, if you would like to participate in an Eichel Tower, keep in mind the official Eichel Tower was dead when we lost with the stat correction on the over 3.5 shots on goal. And he had 4, and it got corrected to 3 about 20 minutes or so after the game. Well, in the last game, he also had 3 shots on goal, but his line was at 3.5. So the sportsbook's starting to jack up the Jack Eichel shots on goal prop. But you can still, there's many books out there, including FanDuel, where you can bet the 3 shots on goal, You just got to lay a ton of juice, and that's the thing. It's a lot of juice. Right now up on FanDuel, Jack Eichel to get 3 shots on goals.
That's the Pascot. You're not going to say it?
Nah. It's -245 is a lot of juice, McKenzie.
It is a substantial amount of that substance.
Yeah. It's a pretty substantial amount of juice. So we'll play around with it. But he has gone over in every single game except for one, going over 2.5 shots on goal. But now the sports books have caught on, and they are starting to list this prop at 3.5 shots on goal. You are getting plus money at 3.5 shots on goal. But again, do you want to lay the juice -245 for him to get 3 shots, or do you want to get a little plus 105 or plus 110 on the 4 shots on goal? Manage your bankroll accordingly. All right, let's take a look at the news in the NFL, McKenzie, because we talked about a quarterback switch yesterday. Now we get further information.
Whenever I need to send roses that are guaranteed to make someone's day, the only place I trust is 1-800-Flowers.com. With 1-800-Flowers, my friends and family always receive stunning, high-quality bouquets that they absolutely love. Right now, when you buy a dozen multicolored roses, 1-800-Flowers will double your bouquet to 2 dozen roses. To claim this special double roses offer, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO.
Yesterday, Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon came out and announced that it'll be Jacoby Brissett starting at quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals when they take on the Seattle Seahawks this week. And now we have a little bit more information about the Cardinals quarterback situation. Kyler Murray yesterday was placed on injured reserve as he continues to rehab from a foot injury that he suffered back in week 5. They say the injury is not season ending, but this is a really bizarre turn of events, Mackenzie, that the guy who was close to coming back and all of a sudden your backup is outplaying you, and then now you're being put on injured reserve, so you're out another 4 weeks.
He was ready. That's what we heard. Whose decision was it? Has he played his last game for the Arizona Cardinals? And maybe both parties are all right with that.
I think he has. We'll see. The earliest he can come back here is
wild
week 14.
Speculation from Scott Seidenberg. I'll bet you right now that it's not.
Okay.
50-50.
All right.
I'll bet you
Week 14 against the Rams is the earliest that Kyler Murray can come back. The Jets continue to make headlines in the worst way. So after trading Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams at the trade deadline, they have now demoted Quincy Williams. So, yeah, the guy was a former All-Pro linebacker, not playing up to snuff for the Jets, not happy.
And he was a Williams.
Yeah,
and he was a Williams. It was a montage. It was a hit job.
Well,
they were getting that kind of people out of here.
His brother got traded, and he's not happy about it. And he was rumored
maybe they were
to be
moping all
well.
year. Maybe this was like, I mean, it was you heard that Quinnen Williams, the one that was traded, was unhappy. Yeah. I'm sure they were a little like click in the locker room, being like, "Is this really what we're doing?" Maybe wild speculation on Mackenzie Rivers.
Now Quincy's being demoted.
But you said it was negative headlines. Don't you think it was pretty positive from the NFL literati about, oh man, they got so much value out of these picks? Not that they're not a dumpster fire.
Yeah, a lot of people
they got max value.
Looking forward. A lot of people are looking forward to the Jets draft for sure. Yeah.
In sometime in the next 15 years, your guys are going to make the playoffs. It will not be another 15 years. Unlikely.
It's really not that hard to make the playoffs.
It's 14 teams to do.
They added an extra team in each league. It's not that hard. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Thursday Night Football tonight, which will kick off week number 10 of the NFL season. And it is a survivor play. It is a play that we have talked about with the incredible, terrible situation for the Raiders coming off the overtime game last week. Raiders are at the Denver Broncos, and the line's actually dipped down, Mackenzie. Up on FanDuel right now, the Broncos an 8.5-point favorite over the Raiders. This feels like prime teaser territory, teasing the Broncos down from 8.5 to 2.5.
You're not going to need the points. Grab the points if you want to with the tease, if you like another leg. But I like the Broncos a lot here. There was one time in 2009 where an overtime team went not only on the road, where teams are 5-20 ATS in this scenario, but 2 Mile High Denver. It was not Mike Shanahan coaching. That was the year after he was fired. It was that McDaniels guy in his first tenure. So not a great coach. 26-6 Broncos win. This is going to be 29-9 or something like that. Total domination. Team dream crusher loss for a terrible team anyway. Overtime. Now they go to Denver against the best defense with a very toothless offense that got a little bit worse.
Okay, so in building our same game parlay, which let's have some fun, and let's build the same game parlay courtesy of our friends over at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Leg number 1, Broncos minus 8.5. Can I interest you rather than doing leg number 1 of Broncos minus 8.5 if we do an alternate spread and do the Broncos to win by 2 touchdowns?
I was going to say 20.5, but yeah, minus 13.5 is a good number. I like that settles in. Although I don't know if going for 2 has changed that math, but I like 13.5. 13.5 solid.
20.5. It's hilarious. No, let's go Broncos minus 13.5. That's leg number 1 is plus 142. Okay?
Nice.
That's okay. I'm good with it. Okay. Leg number 2, because we expect the Broncos to kind of dominate this game.
Right. Now I think we're in a very particular type of game that we're imagining.
Yes.
So
yes.
We're not saying it's guaranteed it's going to happen, but for a same game parlay to hit, we have to have a vision over a particular game that happens to happen.
Yes. So in that case, I'm going to look – the first place I'm going to look is We know the Broncos have the great trench report, matchups and everything. How about
Big
we go
uglies.
How about we go Ashton Genty under 55.5 rushing yards?
Oh yeah, that goes with any team, but especially against the Broncos, when you're down 14-0, you're not like, all right, let's establish our running back here. Let's get going. We have a lot of time left. It's going to be very hard to get first downs. They're not going to be wasting possessions running.
So the only issue with that is that by itself, the minus 13.5 is plus 142. By adding Ashton Genty under, because it's so correlated, it only brings it to plus 218. Is that enough?
Yeah. I mean, yes. I think. I mean, we're not done, but yeah, I think it's a nice little bump. What do you think?
I don't think it's enough of a
It's too
bump.
correlated?
I think I at least need it to be like over 260 or something. Like it's just
Maybe there's a
not that much of
receiver
bump.
we can go over with. We think that is because they're going to have no running game. Someone's going to have like 90 of the 120 total yards they have.
So with they traded Jacoby Myers now. So Brock Bowers is like their number one weapon.
Right.
But Trey Tucker would be their top wide receiver right now. Trey Tucker over 43.5 receiving yards. If we add that to the Broncos minus 13.5, that's plus 358, those two legs.
I'm just curious, what is the tight end that everyone says is going to get every target? He must be like 90
Brock
and a half or
Bowers.
something crazy.
So if we do Brock Bowers over 66.5 receiving yards,
66.
It makes it plus 362.
And what if we go over the other guy?
Plus 358. It's pretty much the same
Right.
thing.
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
What if we went over both of them guys?
Plus 889.
I think crazier things have happened. I think Geno Smith goes out with some fireworks in his last year as a starter. This is one of those 3:30 games where they score 10 points.
But this is a Thursday night game, so it's not going to be a 3:30 game where they score 10 points.
No. This is going to be a 330 passing yard game for Geno Smith. You know, you have those games where you just go up and down the field, and then you get a fumble, and you get a strip sack, then you get a fourth and 17, and you're not Patrick Mahomes.
So why don't we throw Geno Smith over, like, Geno Smith over 250 passing yards? Why don't we do that?
If we get a nice little bump here.
No, but by itself, that's a big one. By itself, I'm seeing plus 250 on that.
Oh, it's an alternate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So the passing yards right now for Geno Smith is only 212.5. So why don't we do an alternate over 250? If we think he's just going to be throwing all game.
We could just do that. We could just that and the Broncos alternate. Just those two?
Just those two by itself? Yeah. So
they're
how
two
about
plus
this?
money ones, but they're plus money ones we think come in.
Oh,
I have a good chance. I have a solid chance.
Mackenzie, this just two leg same game parlay here. Denver Broncos minus 13.5 and Geno Smith 250 passing yards is plus 804.
No Surtain.
That's what I'm saying.
Lose a little bit.
No Surtain. They're gonna be trailing the entirety of the game if we think they're getting blown out. Like 250. Okay, I can see it happening.
What did he have last week?
I could see it happening without them scoring. Like I could see 250 and he throws a couple of picks or something. You know.
Yeah. 284 last week.
Yeah.
362 versus the Patriots. They've gotten some yards.
Yes. The thing is, it's
here 40-6 against the Colts. He has 228. That could have been 250. That's right there.
Quarterbacks against the Broncos. So Daniel Jones in week number 2 threw for 316. Justin Herbert in week 3 threw for 300. Jalen Hurts in week 5 threw for 280. Jackson Dart in week 7 threw for 283.
Jackson Dart?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yep.
As Tom Brady said, that guy?
Dak Prescott threw for 246. And last week it was C.J. Stroud, combination C.J. Stroud and Davis Mills threw for 216. So I think this game script does call for Geno to be passing a lot. I like this a lot, actually. Just a simple two-leg same-game parlay. We're at plus 804 odds. Let's fire it in.
Let's fire it in.
All right. So Broncos minus 13.5 and Geno Smith 250 passing yards. Now, if you want to throw something else in there to jack this bad boy up, how about because we think it's going to be a blowout, and because the Broncos might be running out the strings throughout the fourth quarter, how about backup running back R.J. Harvey over 22.5 rushing yards?
I don't mind it. Explain your thinking a little more.
Just because if they're winning big in the fourth quarter, why are they going to keep the starters out there? Why is J.K. Dobbins going to continue to get handoffs? Let's give the young kid a couple of carries here in the fourth quarter. They're just running out
22 and a half. He has a game of 46, a game of 58, game of 70.
They're just going to be running out, just running out the possessions. 4-minute drill in the fourth quarter. We add the R.J. Harvey over 22.5 rushing yards. We are now at plus 1496 on a 3-leg same game parlay.
That's good. From 8-1 to 14-1 with Harvey. I like that.
Yep. So we have our base 2 legs. The alternate spread: Broncos minus 13.5. Geno Smith 250 passing yards, and that is by itself plus 801 now. And then we add in the R.J. Harvey over 22.5 rushing yards. We make it plus 1499. So those are your same game parlay, fun little same game parlay options, courtesy of the FanDuel Sportsbook. When I say fun little options, I mean fun little options. Like, obviously this isn't full-size unit bets. We're trying to have some fun here with the Thursday night football game and build a same game parlay. All right, Mackenzie, college basketball still, in the first week here of college basketball. So certainly as we move through like the beginning here of the college basketball schedule, it's going to get a little bit more exciting with more top 25 teams in action, especially when we get to, the weekend, Saturday. It's always like Tuesday and Saturday are like the 2 big nights in college basketball. We have a bunch of top 25 matchups coming up on Saturday, so we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the week, probably on tomorrow's episode. College football episode coming out as well, and lots of brand new features coming for you guys at betterday.com. The new picks page is live, sourcing each pick with the specific source. So whether it's a handicapper, for instance, there is a pick up there right now from none other than Steve Fezzik. So you can go get that pick up on betterday.com. We're going to have, maybe it's a newsletter pick, maybe it's a podcast pick, maybe it's a pick from our network of professional bettors and handicappers. That is the whole reason why we started this, is so we can give you, the audience and the listener, the reader, an insight into our betting network, essentially. So we want to let you guys in on that, tell you exactly where all the picks are coming from, and you can track that all on the website up on betterday.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.